Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for WordPress Accessibility Meetup. We're going to officially get started in just a few moments. We're going to give some time for people to join in. If you do want to, while people are joining, introduce yourself, feel free to, you can either unmute if you feel more comfortable with that. You can type in the chat if that works better for you, or if you would like to be spotlighted so our interpreter can see you and vocalize your introduction. We also have that as an option. You would just need to message me or post in the chat that you want to be spotlighted, and we can do that. So it is helpful for our speaker to know who's joining the room, what their background is. If there's anything specific that you're hoping to get out of this meetup, that can be helpful for her to know what to share. So please do introduce yourself however you feel comfortable, background, any questions you might have. And we will officially get started in just a couple minutes. I'm letting lots of people in right now, which is a challenge in and of itself. I will say, like, talking and pressing the admit button and checking everything. I don't know if that's hard for anyone else, but I sometimes I have a hard time focusing. I'm like, what's going on? What do I have to do? So I recognize some people. We have some previous speakers. Glenn is here, who gave a great talk recently about using NVDA screen reader. And I think we just worked out he's going to be back again with us in the spring for another follow-up talk. Let's see, who else do I recognize? Dave has been here before. Daniel from Empire Captions is here. We're going to actually talk about them in just a little bit. And Patricia, you've come. Yep, there. And Patricia just introduced herself in the chat. If you can't see it, she said she's Patricia from Sacramento, California. She develops and maintains WordPress sites. So thanks for coming again, Patricia. It's good to see you, or see your words in the chat, I guess. I can't see everyone on the screen, so. See, I'll wait another couple of minutes. If anyone else wants to introduce themselves or pose any questions that they're coming into this meetup with, feel free to put those in. You could also just type in where you're from if you don't want to give a whole big story. Sometimes it's helpful to see the city as well. I always wonder, so this time zone has worked. We've had people from the UK before. That's what we were planning times. We were trying to pick times that would work across the world. And I think I've actually also had there, Mustafa says that he's from Iran. I hope I said your name right. I apologize if I did not. So that's awesome. Destiny's from Alameda, California. She's a developer relations wrangler. Cher is from London, Ontario, Canada. Someone asked if there's an external link to Captions. Unfortunately, there is not, unless our captioner is more familiar with that, because we're typing right into Zoom. Do we have an external link for Captions? Meryl, do you know about that, if that's possible?
Yeah, usually the captioner might have a Zoom text link, because that's a transcript that is accessible for screen readers and braille readers. So hopefully the captioner has that.
Do you mind unmuting for a second, Susan, and answering that question? Is there one?
Hi, it is. I was told, well, just a second. Hi, it is Susan. No, I was told we were captioning only into the Zoom pod. There are platforms that are external, but it wasn't set up.
Okay. That's what I thought. So unfortunately, I apologize. We do not have an external link today. It is something that we could maybe look into if that would be helpful for people. Feel free to follow up with me and I can see what that would entail for future meetup events. Otherwise, we only have the Zoom captions right now. I'll do a couple more introductions and then we'll move through. So let's see, we have someone, Arthur is here from Frankfurt, Germany, Virginia from Copenhagen, Carrie from San Mateo, California, Janelle from Tiffin, Ohio, Cam from the A11Y coder in Toronto. Cam's going to speak for us also in the spring, which is exciting. Cam says, great to see Meryl again. So I think Cam might have attended one of your previous talks, Meryl. And Victoria is from San Francisco, is new to WordPress, wants to launch a website for her Pilates classes. Very exciting. So I'm going to run through some of our introductions and announcements, and then we'll hand it over to Meryl, because I know that's who everyone is here to see. Feel free, if you have any questions or any other information, to post it in the chat. I will do my best during the meetup to monitor the chat and vocalize and speak out what's been written there in case anyone cannot see the chat. But that's a good way to do it. And then Meryl might have other instructions about unmuting yourself later on if that's something you want to do and join in a conversation. So real quick, some announcements. We always like to make sure everyone is aware that we have a Facebook group. That website it's just facebook.com/groups/wordpress.accessibility. And you can join that group and connect with other people outside of the meetup. We can also put the link in the chat to make it easier for everyone. I also, sorry, I'm switching slides too quickly. Also want to make sure everyone is aware that we're doing a survey right now about digital accessibility tools. We're especially hoping to get data on WordPress website users, but even if you don't do WordPress websites, you can take the survey. It is not just for people who are super experienced with accessibility. There are options where you can fill out the entire thing and say, I've never used accessibility tools. I don't think about accessibility. I don't test accessibility. That is fine for us to get that information because we're trying to get a clear picture. We do have a $200 Amazon gift card incentive that you can enter to win after you take the survey, which we're going to be giving away this month. But our goal is to get at least 200 participants because we want to have a good amount of data. And then we'll be publishing that and doing a meetup on it early next year. Although I'll say we've got a lot, I think it'll be in February that we'll be doing that. So we'll be sharing all the information back with the community. So please take that at our website. You can see it on the screen. We can post it in the chat, but it is equalizedigital.com/survey. Also, very exciting, if you are interested in planning events, I'm working with Joel Dolson, who is one of the lead organizers for accessibility at the accessibility team in the WordPress core. And he and I are going to be planning WP Accessibility Day 2022. It'll be next fall, probably in September or October. And it's a 24-hour virtual conference for accessibility. We are having a meeting next week. I think it might actually be the following week. I'm sorry, it might be on the 15th. I apologize that I don't have this on the slides and I can't remember. But we're going to have an initial meeting for people to talk about what might be involved in planning and see who wants to help with planning. And then we'll actually get started in earnest in January planning the event. So we are looking for other people who would be interested in organizing WP Accessibility Day. So please reach out to me if you would be interested in helping with that. And then I always like to say if there's anything we can do. So like we had someone ask about having transcript or captions outside of Zoom. If there's anything we can ever do to make this more accessible for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Emma, who is here, and you can just get us first name at equalizedigital.com via email, or you can reach us through Meetup. But I know sometimes Meetup's messaging features are not super accessible for some people. So if email is easier, then you can do that. We might also have a phone number on our website, so you can call if that's your preferred method too. So real quick, who are we? We are Equalize Digital. We're a certified B Corp and a WordPress VIP agency, and we make a plugin for WordPress called Accessibility Checker. There is a free version of this on the WordPress.org repo. It is not one of those overlays that says it'll fix your website. What it is a testing tool that flags problems for you on the back end. Sort of similar to how Yoast SEO or all-in-one SEO works, where it scans your page and tells you things you can do to improve it. That's what Accessibility Checker does also. I've already said what our website is, but if you're on Twitter, we're pretty active on Twitter, and we're just at Equalize Digital. So feel free to tweet at us or reach out that way. We have two sponsors today. One is Leon Stafford. He has covered the cost of our ASL interpreters and live captioning. So thank you very much to Leon. Leon is a developer at Stratic, which is a headless WordPress hosting company, if you're not familiar with it. And he is also the creator of WP2 Static. He maintains the accessible minimalism theme for Hugo, which is a different CMS, and is in the process of rebuilding that to work in WordPress. So big thank you to Hugo. To Leon. We really appreciate that. And then we have another sponsor who's new that we're super excited about. Empire Caption Solutions has generously agreed to donate their services to us for creating the transcripts and correcting the captions for our video recaps. This is something that we've been doing in-house and covering the cost of. And since we're not experts and maybe not the fastest typers with stenography machines, it takes us a long time. So we were very, very excited to bring on Empire Caption Solutions as a sponsor. They strive to create inclusive experiences and engage users with different abilities and backgrounds by providing high quality accessibility services for recorded media, which includes closed captions, transcripts. They also do audio descriptions, which if you're not familiar with what that is, it's for someone who cannot see the visuals in a video. They will actually vocalize descriptions of what is happening. So someone who cannot see the video won't miss out on important information. And they do some ASL interpretation as well. So they help their clients meet WCAG 2.1 success criteria and be ADA compliant within very affordable means. They can work with a lot of different budget ranges. So we definitely recommend you check them out as well. We always like to encourage people to thank our sponsors, maybe tweet at them on Twitter. And we were talking about it, and I realized that it would be easier for you all if, instead of me saying this each time, we just have a tweet that you could retweet so you don't have to remember what people's handles are. So I think Emma will post up a link she just did in the chat to Twitter, and it's a tweet that tags our sponsors. And if you want to retweet that and just say thanks to them, that helps encourage them to continue sponsoring, to know what they're doing is important. And then that way, hopefully we can continue with it. I will note that we're having some increased costs with regards to ASL in the new year, and we are looking for new sponsors. So if you are interested in sponsoring, please do get in touch with me, or if your company might be. Some upcoming events to be aware of. Our next meetup is Monday, December 20th It's at 5 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Central if you live where I live. And it is called Guiding Blind. It's Joyce Oshida and Chris Lane. They're going to be talking, it's a collaboration of lived experiences in blindness and web development. They're both accessibility engineers. That might not be their exact title, I apologize, at VMware. And they're going to be doing a live review of the Facet WP plugin and talking with the developers from Facet WP about what they can do to improve the accessibility in the plugin, what's really good, what maybe could be improved. So we're excited about this because this is a first in a series where we're hoping to be able to give back to the community and help give some audits and some real live feedback from users or accessibility professionals to WordPress plugin developers so that they can make their plugins more accessible, which in turn will make all of the websites that use them more accessible. So we're really excited about that, and we're excited about these speakers. So I hope you'll come. And then the next talk will be in January in the new year on Thursday, January 6th in this same time slot. And that will be Carl Groves, who's from Tenon, and he'll be talking about accessibility overlays and examining the distance between fantasy and reality. What do they say they can do and what do they actually do? And he's done a lot of research on this, so he has real data to back up his presentation. So if you're curious about accessibility overlays or you want more information to share internally at your organization or with clients, this will also be a great talk. Yes, and Glenn noted that Tenon, Carl announced yesterday or the day before on Twitter, was acquired by Level Access. I'm not certain if they got rid of the company name though, so I don't know, because Carl didn't message us about updating to say that he's from Level Access now. And I might need to spotlight a different interpreter. Give me 1 second. Where is she? There we go. Okay, I think we have someone spotlighted. It's a little bit easier to do when I'm not also talking, the switching between. Okay, so now the main event, what everyone is really excited about. I am super excited to introduce Meryl Evans. I first met Meryl potentially through WP Accessibility Day a couple of years ago. I can't remember, or I saw her speak somewhere and I connected with her on LinkedIn, and I feel like I have learned so much from Meryl. She is a digital marketing pro, a speaker. She is an accessibility expert that does accessibility consulting. And she also is the co-author of Adapting Web Standards, CSS and Ajax for Big Sites. So she has done a lot of different writing, and if you are interested at all in accessibility or captioning, she also does great videos. So I'm very excited to have her here sharing her expertise with us. Meryl, I'm going to put myself on mute and remove my spotlight and let you take over from here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Amber. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Always an adventure to switch because everything moves around. So, all right, my screen look good. You see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sorry, I forgot I muted myself. Yes, we can see your PowerPoint.
No problem. Howdy, y'all. Before we start, please be aware there are a lot of visuals in there. If anything isn't clear or you'd like more information, please contact me, reach out to me, and I will be happy to walk you through it. So, if you haven't already found it, you can turn on the caption, just look for the CC button because it will help make it easier to follow me. And guess what? If the captions get in the way, you can move them. You can just drag and drop them anywhere. And then audio description also very important, but it's a different ball game, so I won't be going into that, but please do learn about it. So I'm Meryl, and my pronouns are she, her, deaf. I am a member of Generation X and a native Texan with medium length curly hair, pale skin, glasses, and a black sweater. Yes, that cute color in the image of it's me with my dad from a few decades ago, give or take, when I wore a vintage hearing aid on my chest and cords that connect my earpieces to the hearing aid. I was born hearing free, aka profoundly deaf. Here is something that will surprise those of you who haven't met me. The most common assumption people make about me, including accessibility pros and one US Vice President who shall remain nameless. They all assume I knew sign language. I don't. That is neither a good thing or a bad thing. There is no right or wrong. It just is. Like autism is a spectrum, deafness is a spectrum. I can only speak from my own experience. When you meet one deaf person, then you've met one deaf person. To listen, I rely primarily on lip reading in my bionic ear, which sounds a lot cooler than cochlear implant. In my day job, when I am not being an accessibility and marketing consultant, I am when I am not being an accessibility and caption pusher. I am an accessibility and marketing consultant, and I've been using WordPress since version 0.7. Did you know that once upon a time, you needed a secret decoder to watch captions? Okay, maybe it wasn't so secret because it was definitely not portable. The caption decoder was a clunky thing that sat by the TV. Ignore the dial. The only button that mattered was turning it off and on. Boy, have we come a long way since 1983. Now we don't need any special equipment to view captions. We can watch captions wherever we go, whether it's a hotel, a friend's house, or on a device. How cool is that? Here's the agenda for our time together. You know, captions don't just magically appear. And y'all probably agree with me that automatic captions don't count. So we'll dig into how captions work. You have options for captioning your video. We'll cover those as well, and how to post the videos on WordPress. And finally, many people complain that captions suck. Following these tips will ensure people love your work. Captions don't magically show up by themselves after creating a video. They typically require two things: the video and the text file with the caption. Even if you use YouTube automatic caption, it usually creates a caption text file. You can download it and use it. The format that you and I will probably use are SRT and VTT, but there are tons of formats. The captions are in a text file that you can open in a text editor. My career as a magician was a non-starter because I give away secrets. The magic happens in the time codes. They tell the captions when to appear and disappear. When you play the videos that uses a caption file, it's called closed caption. Since this is a text file, search engine can read it. That's how you get the benefit of SEO with closed caption. You have many options for adding caption to a video. I am sharing a short example to show you the general process of captioning a video. Most uses YouTube because it's free and most people have an account. This will show you how to add captions to a video on YouTube. Open subtitles to select the video you want to caption. If you have a script, you can use auto-sync. This is where you copy and paste your script. Let's grab the script to paste it here. Select Assign Timing. You can see the captions are there from the script. I'm going to break up the long line to keep each one no longer than 32 characters per line. Let's test the timing of the caption in the audio. I will shorten the very last line so the caption ends when I finish speaking. Otherwise, it looks perfect. If the timings are off, you can adjust the timing by moving the sliders back and forth until it's right. After you've confirmed the captions are in sync, publish. Then you can download the file to use wherever you publish the video. 2 points. The length of the caption matters. More on that shortly. Second, at the end, when I selected download the video, I could download the SRT, VTT, or SBV. SBV is short for subview. It's YouTube caption format that's similar to SRT. Next is what's in the SRT file that I downloaded from YouTube at the end of this video. SRT is short for subscript subtitle file. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, and many other platforms accept it. You'll see it has sequence numbers followed by the time code and then the caption. The caption shows up when the video hits the first time code and goes away when the video reaches the second time code. Let's check out another format. This is a VTT file. It is modeled after the SRT, but it takes caption a step further by allowing you to format the text, control positioning, and other things. This is the same text in the previous example, except it doesn't have sequence number, just the time code that shows the start and end time for each caption. For those who are brave enough, you can style VTT captions with the SS, but it's best to leave it to the default caption style. The only thing you may want to control is the placement of the caption to avoid overlapping with the on-screen text. When it comes to posting videos on WordPress, 2 things to keep in mind. One is to have player control. Skip the autoplay. It creates a better user experience when the user can control the video and sound. The second part is, of course, captioning your video. Here's the easy way. Only 2 steps. Copy the video URL, paste it into WordPress, and ta-da! This works for YouTube, Vimeo, Video Press, and Dailymotion. The advantage of the easy way, besides being, well, easy, your website server may have a file upload limit and may not be optimized for serving video. While it means we have to depend on a video website not going down, it takes some of the stress off the website. If you added the caption on YouTube or Vimeo, they'll show up on your WordPress website. Now let's look at a fancy way to do that. Giselle just posted in the chat. Can you compare, hi Meryl, can you compare Amara.org and YouTube.com? Amara seems even more simple. If I remember right, and I think I used Amara for capturing a WordPress video, and I was having a lot of problems with it. So I find YouTube easier, but Amara might be easier for some people. I'll talk about apps to use the caption shortly. The fancy way has only two steps. Upload the two files and add the HTML. The CSS part is optional, and I just skip it. Let's take a look at an example of how to do this in WordPress. The code to add a video and caption file to WordPress is simple enough, or so I thought. This is the code you enter on the WordPress page. The first time I posted it, the captions worked on Firefox. After a lot of fiddling, it worked on Chrome, but not the others. Two browsers, you would think by now it would work everywhere, but that's not the case. Anyway, the first time, to ensure it works in Edge, I needed to add the meta attribute in the header. You want to make sure your website always uses HTTPS security encryption. Otherwise, the captions won't work in some browsers. You can have multiple tracks for providing captions in other languages. This example is available on my website, and I'm going to put the URL into the chat. It's meryl.net/webvtt. Unfortunately, like with browsers, captions won't look the same on all devices. I watched a movie on Amazon Prime on TV. Whenever a song came on, the caption showed hashtag instead of musical notes. Here's the trick. I wanted to capture that annoyance. I played the movie on my desktop. This time, it had musical notes. Captions are not consistent across platforms. Test them. What is the differences between open and closed captions? Recall that caption text file we covered. Closed captions use that text file. It gives the viewer almost complete control. They can turn the caption on and off. They can sometimes change how the captions look. Not all platforms allow you to format the caption. I mentioned SEO earlier. This is what I'm talking about. Search engines to read the caption text file, which is why closed captions help SEO. Closed captions require uploading two files, which have two problems. First, it can be complicated for some users. Second, some websites and platforms don't allow you to upload anything but a video file. This is especially true for social networks on mobile devices. For example, on Twitter, if you go on your desktop, you can upload a caption file. But if you're on your mobile device, Twitter's app won't let you upload a caption file. So you need to use open caption. And it makes perfect sense. Most of us are not going to have a caption file on our phone. The text file makes it easier to do translation. Depending on the text file type, you have some control over the placement of the caption, like with CTT. Think of closed captions like responsive websites. The captions move and grow and shrink based on how you interact with the player controls or resize the screen. If you turn your phone sideways, the video gets larger, and so do the captions. Interactive captions refer to two things. One is the ability to move the caption, just like you can drag and drop the caption right here on Zoom and on YouTube. Anytime a YouTube video has captions, it will have an interactive transcript. This means you can select a line on the transcript and the video will jump to that place. As for open captions, they always show up. You cannot turn them off and on. Some people don't like that because it affects their viewing experience. But you only have to upload one file and you don't have to worry about whether the captions show up. But the caption turns into an image that search engine can't read it like they can with a text file. And no matter what size the screen is, open captions never change size. Viewers cannot change the formatting. If they don't like the font or background color, they're stuck. Open caption gives the creator complete control over the format and placement of the caption. However, many creators don't know captioning best practices and don't make accessible captioning decisions. Next up, what are your options for getting a video caption? First of all, I didn't say that bad word in the video caption. Blame auto-captioning. You have 3 options for captioning. You can do it yourself with tools, use the company that offers captioning services, or find a tool that automatically captions the video and edit those videos, which I will show you next. I'm sorry, edit those captions. The list of captioning tools is long. My caption guide has a long list, and if you go to it, you can see there's many, many options. So what's the best tool? You'll hate my answer. It depends. It depends on your processes and preferences. Let's see, Dave has a question. Why are these called open and closed captions rather than user controllable captions? That's very interesting. It seems to make sense. The reason is because open, they're always there. You can't turn them off. You can't do anything. They're always visible. And then closed has to, they have more, like you said, customizable. So turn them off and on. And when I first got my caption decoder in 1983, they called it closed caption. And I guess it's stuck. And open caption didn't become a thing. Well, actually it was for foreign film. But for the official reason, I don't know. But that's my guess. The problem with auto-captioning, would you publish an article on your website if it has typos and other errors? Well then, would you publish caption on your website if it has typos and other errors? That's what automatic captions are and why I call them auto-caption. A consultation happens quickly. It only takes one wrong word, one wrong letter in the caption to confuse the viewer. Before the caption viewer can decipher the wrong caption, the captions move on to the next line. Here are 6 reasons why automatic captions are a big problem. They don't make sense. A line of a song has one wrong word and a missing letter. It was enough to change the meaning of the line. Before I could decipher it, the lyrics moved on. Captions are embarrassing. Auto-caption gives wrong information. In a video, the auto-caption says to boil on high for 45 minutes and preheat the oven. What the audio said was to boil on high for 4 to 5 minutes and don't preheat the oven. That'll be one burned item. They hurt your brand. Accessibility supporters are passionate and will boycott brand. If I see bad caption, I go find something else to watch. The company didn't think it was worth fixing the caption, and I don't think it's worth washing them. And finally, automatic captions are not equitable. Harvard and MIT got sued for the lack of caption. They argued they had caption referring to the automatic caption, Both studies allowed students and agreed to accurately caption the video. And here's an example of why automatic captions are embarrassing. I bet you've seen some embarrassing screenshots of bad caption. The Daily Mail shared it from a New Zealand talk show that showed up all over Twitter. I can't begin to read the caption out loud because it's that embarrassing. Hillary Berry, the TV host speaking the line, retweeted the picture and wrote, "Salmon, I know salmon. Do you want your company or brand to be featured on Twitter like this?" Here's a quick clip using an app to automatically caption the video and then cleaning it up. We're going to automatically caption a video and then edit it. First, upload the file. Then stand by to let the app do its magic. It'll take a few minutes depending on the length of the video. After it's done, open it to edit it.
Hey, Meryl Evans
Not a
here.
good caption style. Let's change that. Much better. The auto-captioning may work. With the magic of editing, it's done in seconds.
Hey, Meryl Evans here. Create.
After swing, I start playing with the timing and I'll fix the length as the caption is too long. When you're happy, download the file. Now that you know how to caption a video, is your work done? Of course not. Captioning audio is only part of the formula of the great and accessible caption. Quality is the other half. Quality means they're more accessible. The reason why great captions are boring is because they let the video be the star. They don't fight for the spotlight or detract you from the video. If I notice the caption, it's a sign they're not good. The best captioning guidelines come from the Described and Caption Media Program Captioning Key. And I just pasted the link into the chat box. dcmp.org/learn/captioning key. They're clear and easy to understand. SDC has captioning rules. WCAG has caption in a criterion. The caption 10 is based on my experience as someone who depends on quality captions. I wanted to provide a simple way to caption best practices with these 10 rules. If a caption video follows these, the caption will most likely be optimized. If you're like me, you learn from example. So the number one rule of great caption, and this shows you why. One that contains great caption and the other painful caption. One thing to note is that the right side has many different captions. Consistency is important. I wanted to show you actual examples of captions. Here we go.
The most important word of great caption is readability. When people can't read the caption, none of the other words matter. So make sure your caption, the text stands out from the background, the theme, and any detraction. When you post your video, be sure to add #captioned so we can find it.
Readability has 4 components: size, color, font, and background, the color behind the text. Captions without a background are hard to read. When I was looking for exercise videos, I found caption videos from 2 companies. Peloton won me over because they were readable. Just a quick example of the problem with readability when you have, this has a serious readability issue because the captions get lost with the on-screen text, and plus they're transparent, so it's very hard to make them out. for many of us, this may look like good contrast. I'm waiting for the ESL interpreter to switch. But this fails every single contrast test. The side takes up almost half of the screen and takes away from the action. Let's check this one out.
Hey y'all, Meryl Evans, Digital Marketing Pro, here to create a video so I can show you how to caption it. It would be interesting to see how bad the automatic captions are for this video. I caught auto-caption because the rudder was mistakes. And they never, ever get my first and last name right. Auto-caption don't like my accent very much. It's not a British or a French accent. Rather, I have a deaf accent because I was born hearing free. This video should be long enough now to do the trick. Thanks for coming and captioning your video.
Auto captions are good for a few laughs, but they're not so funny when you're trying to watch a video or a webinar. I often quit watching videos when the captions are inaccurate. It turns out many others do too. This is why auto captions are not always better than no caption.
Voice caption is synchronized. This means the caption follows the action on the screen. What is heard, what is said. Yes, we can tell when the captions are out of sync, even with the sound on, and it's dizzying. Make sure your caption follows the action on the screen.
I'm going to show you an example. Oh, May is asking any chance of more timely immediate posting to the transcript. Currently 20 to 30 seconds after live, which is harder to connect. I'm still not entering. I'm not clear on what you're asking, so I will continue. If you could state the question for the end or offline, we can. I would love to be able to answer it.
I
Here's the
think,
thing.
Meryl, I think that they might have been asking related to our live captions right now. And I'm not certain what we can do about the Zoom transcript. So that will be something I may have to look into and follow up and see if we can improve for next time. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm not sure if that's Mark or May. And we can see what we can improve for the future.
Thank you, Amber. Here's a video, a very short clip of a very out of sync video.
Strange job, 4 hours until she's on a plane. Where are they going? Grand tour of Italy. Now that she's married, she can eat all the pasta she wants.
Okay, that was enough. It didn't, right? This happened more than once on the Kids Baking Championship. You know, reality shows love to draw things out to increase the suspense. Pay attention to the caption and the audio to see what went wrong. Feel free to put it in the chat box if you figured it out.
Power the 5 spice.
Unfortunately, the baker leaving us today is Maya.
Did you figure it out? Caption viewers find out who's leaving a whole 8 seconds before the audio. Exactly, Stephanie, the caption spoiler, exactly. But here's an example of suspense done right. The basher dragged it out so long that I had to cut part of it. And notice how they describe music 2 ways.
Ladies, Savannah was
Dave had the question, do you prefer 2 lines of caption with less time on the screen or 3 lines with more time on the screen? 2, I always recommend 1 to 2 lines. You could get away with 3, it just depends, but network TV and streaming videos always have 1 to 2 lines. And timing is a tricky thing. We'll keep going and I talk about the length soon. Right now.
Hey, Meryl Evans here with the caption tip.
Yes. Matter.
Really matters and great caption. You want to avoid having captions go 1 or 2 words at a time so fast that even the fastest reader can't keep up or absorb the information. You also want to avoid the caption going all the way across, multiple lines, or seeing them go 3, 4, 5 lines long. You're so focused on reading that you miss the action on the screen. Goldilocks found the best answer, and that's the middle. Limit caption to 1 or 2 lines and aim for the middle of the screen. So yes, size matters in good caption.
Remember the YouTube video where I shortened the line length and bad breaking point are the most common problem I see in caption. Even I messed that up in my early days of captioning. Length is the difference between scanning and reading. Short lines make it effortless to scan the caption and watch the video. Long lines force you to read. It's not instant. You're reading more, so you miss more of the video. Videos often break these rules. The more than 2 lines makes it hard not to lose your place in reading captions. Aim for 1 to 2 lines, about 32 characters per line. For line breaking points, Captioned key has good examples. The biggest one is not to start and end a sentence in 1 line of caption like in this photo. As for alignment, the important thing is to keep it consistent for the entire video. I'm pasting the link to Captioned key again. It's the same one I posted earlier.
Do you prefer top or bottom position? In caption, of course. The majority of people prefer them on the bottom. There is no scientific research or data to prove that. For some reason, when you look at the bottom, you can see more of the video. Somehow, when captions are up top, it seems like we catch less of the video. It's almost like our eyes tend to gravitate up rather than down.
So which did y'all prefer, top or bottom? I conducted multiple polls and 99% picked the bottom. Oh, do not worry, adjust your volume. It won't suddenly stop working. The video has no sound to show you the importance of sound.
I just thought I'd unmute for a second and say I'm not sure today if we have anyone who cannot see the video. Meryl, would you mind just briefly explaining what was in that video in case anyone could not see it?
Thank you, Amber. Okay, so this video has two separate side-by-side videos of the same thing. The one side had captions for everything, all the sound and whatever I said, but it was, I turned the volume off to show the impact of it. And the other side only captioned my dialogue, what I said. It did not caption any of the sounds that happened. So when I showed up with the package, when the caption didn't have sound, nobody would know why I had a package in my hand. But the version was sound that the doorbell rang. So obviously there was a package at the door. And then another example was the phone rang. That's why it took me away from my desk again. And then the final example was my dog started barking and I was comforting them. So I hope that explains that. And if you want more details, again, reach out to me. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. I want you to have the full understanding of everything that went on. And Dave asked, why do you have a big black space at the bottom of your caption? It's almost like you have space for 3 lines of caption. Well, part of it is the timer, the progress bar, so it makes it look bigger. So it's just the format I use for this one. And Glenn said that's one of my favorite examples from Merrill. I love the bracketed sound that explains what's going on in the background. And that's exactly what this video shows. So noting silence, oh, you also want to note silence or background music is very important. One episode of a TV show opened and went on and on and on without caption. I didn't have my bionic ear on, so I thought, were my captions messed up? Did the show not have captions? Or was there a song or a voiceover? Don't leave viewers wondering if the captions are messed up. Sound often appears in brackets like in these two music examples. What happens when the sound shows foreboding music or junkie music? It really sets the mood in 2 different ways. When it's a song, identify the name of the song and singer. And like I have an example here, 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton intro playing, and then I have the lyrics to the song. And please don't put lyrics in italics because they are hard for a lot of people to read. Keep it simple and use music notes. It's readable and it puts music in your head. And the other point I want to make is to be descriptive yet concise and describing music and sound, just like with alternative text, text alternative for images. So it's a video out there that is very popular that describes sound in very earthy way, and even things that were not sound and sounded exhausting. It just was too much, it was overload. If it was just an earthy video, that's fine. But the speaker in the video made it sound like I want all captions to do that. And it was really a lot. At the start of a TV show, when introducing the story, the caption and the credit or chron rarely overlap. And there goes the cam question. In fact, many shows move the caption up temporarily and then bring them back down, or they move the credit up above the caption.
Meryl Evans here talking about credit and caption. They should never, ever fight the viewer's attention. They want to see both. I've been in there. I'll talk about what I do. I'm a digital marketing pro who works with marketing leaders on their projects and tasks. may develop a social media marketing plan. Manager will do social media ads. And finally, content marketing. Contact me when you need a marketing right-hand gal. Actually, I'm left-hand gal.
Here's a screenshot from Kimmy Schmidt. Well, the lyrics are open from the opening. The captions are up top with the music note and the singer's name. And then the show title is at the bottom, so they don't overlap. Great example. And this one, bad example, not in order opening. We have caption on top of the special guest star name. And this is a big problem, and Hulu is notorious for doing this. Here's another example where on-screen text has important information, but the caption cover it up. You don't want to see both without straining or having to turn off the caption, backing it up, looking at the credit, and then turning the caption back on.
The best way to explain it is by sharing these two clips. And with one character claims she can do 5 ranges. You might want to turn off your sound with the full effect. Watch what happens.
You nodded. You nodded. You nodded. Yeah, I counted 4. Oh no. God. What do you say?
See what a difference captions make to someone watching it without sound. I think captions that reveal a character imitating a person with something else, like in this clip. A voice changes for a reason, and viewers need to know when this happens. So caption those voice changes to keep everyone in the loop.
And that time that single showed on America's Got Talent, it was a lousy experience. That time the caption did not show the voice changes. I can't tell Eminem from Snoop based on the voices alone, but add them in the caption and I am instantly impressed with the performer. Dave asked, do you prefer that word for word caption or a caption that contain all meaning with fewer words? Please explain your reason. Word for word. I can judge for myself. I want to know exactly what's being said. The person that is doing the caption and summarizing one may not know what's best. So anytime I ask a question to anybody who depend on captions, we all say the same thing, word for word. There might be exceptions, but it's usually the classroom setting. That's a different type of, it's not exactly captions, there's another name for it, but it's more like note taking because word for word would be a lot. I wouldn't want a whole professor lecture word for word. I'd rather have a whole summary of everything he talked about. And the May said, captions were a discussion point at a recent NAD, which is the National Association for Deaf, meeting, and the need for quality caption and not just auto-captioning. And she spelled out National Association of the Deaf. And interestingly enough, in about an hour, the FCC is having a online meeting about caption and quality. But get there, the meeting is 2 hours and 45 minutes long. I do not plan to go to that. That's just way too much. They will have a recording available. And if anyone's interested, I don't have the link on me right now, but if you're interested, contact me. And then May add NAD suggested for everyone to file a complaint with the FTC for no or poor caption, and I agree. But the reality is, people are not going to do that because it's a lot of work and there's a lot of bad captions out there. On the screen, I have a thing from Lily and Dash. They had a voiceover, and what was interesting in the first picture, it showed the woman in bracket. It's the woman's voice. Imagine that. And then the second screenshot shows man. It's the most detectable time of the year. So the voice changed. It was different people, and you don't know that because it's the voiceover. Nobody's face on the screen, and it made a big difference. Here's the caption that I know the character whispered. Otherwise, you may be wondering why the patient is panicking and overhearing the conversation. Imagine you're a patient and you hear the nurse say, "You forgot to listen to his heart, doctor." But we know she said it quietly, so she could not be overheard. Oh, Patricia Chadwick brought up a good point. Just to clarify about word for word, should yeah, you know, okay, be included? And no, they do not. Thank you for bringing that up. That's important. That is especially true in webinars and business videos, but on TV, like for fiction, yes, you want that because it doesn't happen very often, and it usually gives you a clue in someone's personality or how somebody's feeling. They might be nervous or stuttering or struggling. So in nonfiction videos and businesses, please cut those out because it makes it easier to follow. And then Dave says, comparing word for word caption to captions that contain all of the meaning with fewer words. Why on captions with fewer words more accessible? That they allow the deaf to spend close to the same amount of time as a hearing person looking at the non-captioned part of the video. That's an interesting point, Dave. I couldn't answer because, like I mentioned before, we're a spectrum, and some people might agree with you. But I've been watching captions since 1983, and I'm a lot happier when it's word for word. It does not affect my experience. I feel like I'm getting the full experience. Very rarely do I ever have to back up because I missed something. Usually when I do that, it's because of bad caption, not because it was word for word. And Patricia Chadwick says, thanks, that makes sense, and referencing my answering her previous question.
There are times when it's not clear who is speaking on a video. Sometimes the speaker isn't on screen, or two people speak and the captions show dialogue from both in one shot. There are two different ways the captions show them. The first clip uses the person's name. Take a look. Just let the depot put caption underneath the speaker. Letting viewers know who thinks the line is important.
Thank you, May. She just posted a link to the SDC event on captioning today at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And the link is really long, so I'm not going to read it out. Hopefully, you'll be able to click on it and get there. The video showed all of the 3 examples for identifying the speaker to let us know who said what. They use bracket, a person's name in bracket. They use dashes when 2 different people speak, and then caption under the speaker. Move on from that. Here's the last one of the Caption 10. This session is a live event. Most live events use scrolling captions, and that's what you'll see right now if you have the caption on. They can't always be avoided. However, I have seen scrolling captions in recorded videos that were not live. Pop in is easier on the eyes, less distracting, and most importantly, less people read at their own pace. These two videos are not in sync. It was a challenge to make them.
Hey y'all, Meryl Evans here, talking about the difference between scrolling caption and pop-in caption. Many people prefer pop-in caption because it lets people read at their own pace. The movement from the scrolling caption is distracting and takes away from the action on the screen. Thanks for watching and captioning.
G-Third asked, how can you position caption file as only text? VTT can position caption, and I just posted a link again to my web VTT example where I show moving caption. I will not follow that example because it's not good placement, but there are ways to do it to where you can put them where you want them to go. You're welcome, Lizzo. So we covered the 10 best practices for accessible caption. Here's the recap of what they include: readability, accuracy, sync, length, position, sound, credit, charon, voice, speaker, and flow. Now, let's put together everything we've learned. This recorded episode of The Good Doctor has scrolling caption and was a terrible experience. As the lifestyle was shown, I found another version on a streaming network and it was much better. See if you can spot the differences.
Girl.
Would you like to paint the nursery pink? I will see you in class.
Okay. Okay.
The scrolling caption had a significant delay, all caps, and no captions were found. Don't the little things make a huge difference. They help prevent cognitive overload. And Dave asked, is there any video platform that allows turning on and off audio description for the blind in a video? And May answered, YouTube now has the option to also upload an AD file. She may have correct. And Dave, yes, most streaming networks like Netflix now have the ability to turn it on and off. NBC, they had audio description for the entire Olympics and Paralympics. So it was possible to do that. In the Thanksgiving Macy's parade for the first time this year had audio description on a separate channel. So yeah, there are some places that where you can turn it off and on, or you have to tune in to a different channel. It depends. I believe with the American Federation of the Blind, they have a resource page on audio description, where to get it, how to turn it on, and all that. I recommend you look for that for more details. You are required to add caption to your video. Don't let those efforts go to waste with bad quality captions. And text captions with someone who relies on them, who depends on them. Turning off the sound won't give you the same experience as someone who depends on them every day. Again, adding caption to your video is only half of the equation for accessible caption. The other half is quality. I hope that these video examples have provided evidence of why quality captions matter. May add, there is an audio description project that is creating a database of which titles have AD. Thank you. And there's also a website of volunteers who will add AD to a video, I believe. I can't remember on the top of my head. And camera pro, apparently audio description for Netflix Daredevil is fantastic. That's great to know, Cam, thank you. So what can we do to get more caption videos out there? Besides captioning videos, there are some action items you can take. If you see a video that should be captioned, ask. Many companies will upload. Oh, thank you, Daniel. YouTubeGrab.com. And Virginia Louis, does anyone know any software or company that do live caption translation? There are some that do, but I keep thinking on the top of my head who that is exactly. And I mean,
I could,
I just shared a link to Merrill.net caption, and it'll have apps and links to services, so you should be able to look them up and see if they do this. And Dave said, do you like emojis in your caption like this? And he had clapping hands 3 times. Dave, interestingly enough, in my early days of caption, like I did that as a have fun with the emojis. I snuck them in there, but after a while it gets old, and it's better not to put them there and let the words stand for themselves. Anyway, if you see a caption video, leave a comment thanking the creators for caption and encourage them to use hashtag captioned to expand the video reach, or thank them if they use the hashtag. Next time you post your video online, please use the hashtag captioned. It's a unique hashtag because it doesn't tell you the topic of the video, but rather that the video has captions. If you use hashtag captions with an F, it can also refer to, here's the picture, caption there. So that's why we use ED. One of the biggest barriers to caption is not knowing what to do. Share captioning how-to resources and guides. Thank you, Cam. He says, Meryl, you also suggest we use hashtag caption on LinkedIn as well. Now I use it all the time. Mustafa says, guys, let me mention again, Magellan Common 40 project on my system. I have made a live TTS for Persian language. Semi-live TTS is possible with it. Thank you, Mustafa. And Kim, yes, I love it when I go to LinkedIn, I click captioned hashtag, and I see lots of videos and they're all captioned, or an event announcement for a webinar that will be captioned, and it's just so cool to scroll and know everything's gonna be accessible to me. No more pushing play, well, this have caption play, and then I stop it quickly within 3 seconds because I don't want them to get the zero count. I'm kidding. All right, so bake caption into your processes, and this has 6 different kinds of cookies in the picture. And just like editing is part of the writing process, therefore, every video caption should be added, edited, and verified as part of the video production process. And Mustafa says using free, liberal software for disabled people is crucial. Let's not tie disabled lives with corporate profit-making aims. We deserve more than just being just a consumer. Thank you, Mustafa. Feel free to connect with me and send me your questions, and you can find everything out. Merrill.net/caption. You can connect with me at Merrill.net with a put into the back, and on Twitter, Meryl K. Evans. I want to send a Texas Dive yeehaw and thank you to Amber and the WordPress Accessibility Meetup team and Emma. The sponsors, Leon Stafford and entire Caption Solution. The captioners for captioning the challenge and acting, the sign language interpreters for interpreting, and to you for your time, for captioning your videos, and for encouraging others to caption. And the main thing, to address that even if you don't use caption, still act for them at every event that you attend. Be an ally, and remember that every bit helps. The more people who ask for us, the more the organizers will realize it's not just one or two people that want it, it's a lot. So yeah, and always ask for captions when you see videos out there on Twitter without them. What's annoying is the ones that talk about diversity, inclusion, or accessibility, and they're not captioned. And the most offensive one just happened a couple of days ago. A guy was outside of a school for the deaf and blind. This video did not contain caption. Thank you, Amber. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Do you mind stopping sharing your screen? Because then our interpreter will be a little bigger just for the final end. This has been fabulous. It's so great. Every time you speak, I learn something new. So I really appreciate it. Does anyone else have any other questions for Meryl or comments or anything they'd like to add? Feel free to ask those. I was going to ask one question that came up for me because you demoed, I don't know if I'm trying to remember if the software was called Subly for doing the auto transcription and then editing captions. Is that your recommended, or have you tried a lot of those different ones, and do you have thoughts on the accuracy?
No, I was just using that as an example. I just made the video. Personally, I use YouTube because none of the automatic caption tools are good enough with my accent, or rather my accent not good enough for them. So that's why I cannot recommend any software. For example, maybe you work in a company that uses Adobe software. Adobe has captions built in. You might as well try that first. So, and some people may have apps they're using for speech to text that know their speech well. That would make a great captioning tool. So this is why, and some people might be captioning videos on their phone, not on their desktop, and that's a different experience. So that would require a different kind of software than somebody who's doing it on their computer. And Mustafa, please do. Mustafa has some suggestions on there. So please do share. Do you want to come with the microphone, or do you want to type? Let us know what you prefer. And Daniel, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, I will say one thing that we noticed when we were doing ours, of course, now we have our wonderful sponsor, Empire Caption, who's going to help us with our transcripts afterward. But we tried software that you would import the video in and then it would auto do it, but it wouldn't actually have the video. It would just keep the audio file for you. And we found that really challenging. I think Emma had to hop off for something, but she was doing it and we were talking about it. And she told me it's really hard because sometimes it didn't get it right. And she's trying to listen and hear what the person's saying. And she's really like, it would be easier for her if she could see the video. So I think that was one thing we determined was whatever sort of auto transcribing system you use, it has to keep the video too. It can't just have an audio file for you to play and listen to for accuracy.
Yeah, especially if there were.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, especially if there were like dev kind of terms, because I am not a developer. So yeah, especially if there were code focused talks, that was more difficult for me to figure out.
Yeah.
So Mustafa just answered UK10 live video editing software. It has auto caption generation, which not only generates FRT caption, but also sync it with video and easily one can adjust and edit. And then Dave asked an interesting question. Has anyone made an artificial neural network to convert auto caption into something closer to normal English? I'm not aware of anything. So if anybody in the audience knows, I would love to hear about this. And these are like, this was great. Thanks. You're welcome. And Mustafa says, yeah. And respond to his previous VOSK. What is that?
I'm
Mustafa?
guessing maybe that's a platform that's
Okay.
an answer
May
to
I-
Dave's question.
Yeah,
Yep.
may I
Mhm.
explain just because it is like it become hard to just type, just simply like whatever like okay, because like wait, I'm a bit dark here.
If you want, you don't have to start your video. If you want to, I
Yeah,
can
but just
let you. Otherwise,
okay, let's see. Like, okay, it's not giving me option. I don't know. So just the point is, I'm suggesting like what I'm suggesting is all like free Libre software. It's open source, and basically just there are technical things to do, but for like the easiest thing is to install KDE Live video editing. It's a free software. It doesn't have version for Mac OS, but for Windows and Linux system, you can just install it. You can just like check. It has some auto subtitle generation that if you activate it, then you can just get some model, like trained for 17 languages. Of course, English is there. Persian language is also there. I have tested it already for Persian, which is like much small model as compared to what they have in for English. So you just like import that model, and then just like it's just a click. You just like sit, wait. It generates the subtitle, which is like auto-generated like voice recognition. And it is like very much like video editing. So you don't need to go manually, just change date, like time frames. You don't need to do that. Just like visually, you can just like adjust timing. You can just like edit the text. And I have used it. It is really good. It is really user-friendly. I mean, like there is no technical thing. So I think it's a good start, but yeah, so sorry if I didn't explain properly or clearly.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's and May added VOSK is a speech recognition toolkit. So for extra context. And it sounds like it's open source. So might be worth us all going and trying out.
Yeah, it is open source. So it means that like actually like for like providing some kind of services to fix some problem for especially for disabled people, we don't need to rely on some company. So it's copyrighted, it has some patents, let's say. So tomorrow maybe they say, oh, like we decided to stop our service, or I don't know, we got like bankrupt. So anytime like we can use it, we can make it even better and better.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I think we're almost to the end of our time. So I want to thank everyone again for coming, and a quick reminder that our next event is going to be on the first Monday of the month, which is sorry, not the first Monday, the third Monday. So it'll be Monday, December 20th, and it is our evening meetup. So it is at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central in the US. And it's going to be a screen reader test with feedback for Facet WP WordPress plugin. So I hope to see everyone there. Thanks again, Meryl. And please feel free to reach out to us or reach out to Meryl if you have any follow-up questions. Have a great day.